Hey guys, I wanted to come on tonight and chat with you a little bit because I'm really intrigued as to what you guys might think about this issue. So, more and more, I just am noticing things in our world, and I'm curious if you guys see the same things. I find that if I am out at a store and I happen to run into a friend and I say, "Oh, how are you doing?" And they say, "Oh, we're doing great. And so has baseball and they just won their championship and we're really excited and we're having a barbecue this weekend," and maybe they'll ask me, "Oh, how are you doing?" I can go into a whole spiel of things like, "Oh, gosh, we've got to get our pigs processed before the weather gets too hot. And my potatoes, I just got those in the ground, but I'm really late for the peas and the irrigation's going in, but I worry we're not going to get it in time. Can't get an electrician to call me back to try to hook up, the power that I need down at the garden." And I can kind of just see this blank look on their face, like that was way too much information for them. I feel like it's kind of easy to feel alone in this lifestyle. I don't think a lot of people can relate. And I'm just wondering if you guys sort of get that same thing. Like, my friends and family can sometimes be like, "Wow, like you're taking this a little far." But I don't think I am. In the whole grand scheme of everything that's going on right now, I just feel like preparation is so important. But how I see other people kind of going about their lives doesn't reflect any of that. I feel like people are just still living their lives. And maybe it's just because I am kind of a chronic overreactor and I am kind of like, "Oh, the end of the world is coming and we have to prepare." But I don't necessarily think so. I think it might be that there's just so many people that don't recognize what's going on. I mean, I think that everybody has to recognize in the grocery store and at the gas pump. I mean, we all feel those inflation prices, right? When I go into the grocery store, I don't know how many times I say to my kids, like, "Oh man, that went up 50 cents or that went up 20 cents or, we're not in there a lot. So when we do go into the grocery store, I am seeing significant price changes because maybe we haven't been there in 3 weeks. We typically are buying our dairy and our fruit and any kind of snacks or something that the kids might want as far as kind of like junk food. So, maybe those prices are just hitting me heavier because I'm not in there every week. But no one else seems to bat an eye. So it just kind of astounds me. And the gas pump too. And vehicle prices. My goodness. I refuse to buy a new car even though we desperately need 2 new vehicles. Both of our vehicles have over 200,000 miles on them. They are both over 15 years old. But the prices of vehicles are so expensive. And not to mention, if you're going to finance that vehicle, Experian just came out with a report saying that the interest rate on a new car, the average interest rate is 7.5% to 14%. Who can afford that? But yet I see brand new, beautiful SUVs on the road. Some of these vehicles are $100,000 and I just don't know how people are doing it. So there's that. And then there's these big, big companies that are doing massive layoffs. Amazon's going to lay off 9,000 people, they said. Google is 12,000 people for layoffs. You've got IBM, Dell. And even locally here, we have a massive plant that has been open for decades and they're closing their doors, putting a lot of our community out of work. So people have got to be feeling this. But what you see in the stores, or at least what I see, are still big purchases that aren't necessarily related to food or preparation. And I think, okay, maybe there was a good deal on that. Maybe that's okay. But I feel like I just see it over and over again with people just making really big purchases right now. And we're buying stuff in a time like never before. We've never seen these inflation numbers at the store. These are the highest prices we've ever seen in history for goods that we're bringing into our homes and our lives. That to me says that people really can't afford it. They can't afford to put food on the table. They can't afford to make their monthly bills. They can't afford whatever it is that they're purchasing. But then if you do a little research and look at credit card debt, for instance, in the fourth quarter of 2022, so just the last 3 months of 2022, we saw the highest increase in credit card debt ever recorded in history at $85 billion. So if you look at the graph over time from the year 2000 until today, you see a gradual increase. But then that fourth quarter of 2022, it's almost vertical. I mean, the debt just skyrocketed. And it's just crazy. So people have got to be feeling it, right? And I mean, if I'm going to Costco, now I'm going to be paying inflated prices just like everybody else. But things that I can't produce here, let's say like flour or sugar, I'm stocking up on those things. I think I spent, I'm not even going to tell you how much I spent. But just to stock up for a few months or 6 months on these items that I know I'm going to need during the preserving season, like salt and sugar and all of these things, it's expensive. But I don't think people are stocking up. I don't think that they're preparing. And so I just don't know. Are you guys seeing people preparing? Because I'm just feeling like that's so important right now. I don't know if I can look at my neighbors and say, I'm so sorry that you don't have food. I can't help you because I have to feed my own children. Or, what if it's a child that's hungry? I certainly can't turn them away. And I'm trying to prepare the best that I can for my family so that we have food and that we're taken care of, and we're trying to prioritize what we're spending on. And most of that, I'll tell you, is infrastructure here on the homestead, as well as food for just food storage, like wheat berries and oats, and like I said, things we can't produce here. But a big response that I get from my friends is, oh, well, if things go bad, we know where to go. We'll just be at your house. And that's the same with my family and the same with my husband's family. And I think, that's all great. And it sounds like a really fun party, but we're going to run out quick if that's the case. And it concerns me. It concerns me for our world. What will people do? I think we're going to see people really in need. So anyways, I just really was curious of your guys' input on that. Leave me some comments below. Let me know I'm not the only one, because I feel really kind of alone in this lifestyle. There's not a lot of people doing it around me. We don't have a huge community. And if we do have people that are, let's say, farming or raising animals, it's not necessarily to be more self-sufficient. It's more of as an income, right? So they could have, let's say, their meat taken care of, but what about everything else? What about all of the other parts? So I don't really know, but I'm curious as to what you all think. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble today.